Shalom, everybody. We are now in Parshat Chukat Balak in the diaspora and Parshat Balak in Eretz Yisrael. There's an amazing insight, something that's bothered me for years. And just this week, connected to the Parshat of the week, I got an answer. I am delighted. I mean, when you learn these things, you get very, very excited. Let's just give an introduction, okay? Introduction is that we saw in Parshat Korach that when the Jewish people accused Moshe and Aharon of killing the 250 Rashi Sanhedrin, and that Korach and his assembly was swallowed up in the earth, right? Thousands were killed. So the Jewish people condemned Moshe and Aharon, saying, Atem hamiten et am Hashem, you killed the Jewish people. And there was the wrath of Hashem, and a plague broke out. And the Torah teaches us in Parshat Korach that as soon as the plague broke out and started to kill people, taking away the lives of at least 14,000 or 12,000 people, you can see there in Parshat Korach. So Moshe, at the time of the plague, he told Aharon, he commanded him, he said, go, take a Ketoret, put the Ketoret on the pail, the holy machta, the special pail for the Ketoret, and go and stop the plague. So Rashi brings down from the Midrash and from the Gemara that this secret, the Ketoret, the incense offering, can stop plague, was revealed to him by the angel of death. When Moshe Rabbeinu went up to receive the Torah, and he won them over in his argument why the Jewish people deserve the Torah, and why the Torah should not stay above with the angels and Hashem, etc. So every angel, or every big angel, gave a gift to Moshe Rabbeinu. The angel of death decided to give us a gift to Moshe Rabbeinu. The secret to stopping plague is the incense offering. So because of that, Moshe told Aharon, go run quickly with the Ketoret and stop the plague. So he came, and the angel of death saw that the Ketoret was stopping him from doing the job of killing more Jews. So the angel of death argued with Aharon, leave and let me do my job. So Aharon says, no, Moshe Rabbeinu sent me. I'm the messenger of Moshe Rabbeinu who ordered me to stop you. He said, that's silly. The angel of death said, I'm the angel of Hashem. Hashem sent me to do the plague to kill the Jewish people. And you're the angel of Moshe. He's the teacher. Hashem, God is the master, and compared to him, vis-a-vis Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu is the student. So I come first. So Aharon said to the angel of death, listen, Moshe Rabbeinu does not do anything on his own initiative. Everything he tells me to do must come from Hashem. And if you don't believe me, Mr. Angel of Death, come with me to the Ohel Moed, the tent of assembly. There we will find right now Moshe with Hashem there, because that's what the Torah depicts in Parshat Korach, that the cloud of glory came to the tent of meeting, and then Hashem revealed and said to Moshe, I'm going to kill the Jews now with a plague. Because of this blasphemy, whatever you want to call it, this chutzpah that they said that you guys are killing the Jewish people. So that's how Aharon stood in front of the angel of death and stopped him. Now Parshat Chukat, which talks about the passing of Aharon, so Rashi again brings from the Midrash Tanchuma and from the Midrash Rabbah and from the Gemara that when Moshe Rabbeinu, Aharon and his son Elazar went up to Mount Hor, if you want to call it, Hor, and they only came down, Moshe Rabbeinu and Elazar, because the Torah depicts that Aharon was supposed to pass away on Mount Hor, and Rashi brings down again from the Midrash the details, how there was a cave waiting for them, an open cave with a bed prepared and a candle lit for Aharon to go in that cave to pass away. And Rashi brings down the whole details, etc. That he took off his 8 Kohen Gadol high priestly garments and he dressed them on his son Elazar. So he should see in his lifetime his son being coronated as the high priest. Elazar should be coronated as the Kohen Gadol. And then, like Rashi says, Aharon lay down, like Moshe told him, lay down. Close your eyes. Close your mouth, he closed his mouth. And that's how that's how Aharon passed away. So then they came down. And when the Jewish people were witnessing all this, and they see that only Moshe and Elazar are coming down, so this now is not what Rashi quotes, it's like the actual Midrash Rabbah. They asked him, where is Aharon? So Moshe and Elazar said he passed away. They said, this is what Rashi actually brings down from the Midrash. Could it be the one who stood in front of the angel of death with the Ketoret and stood between the living and the dead and the living to stop the continuation of the plague? Can it be that the angel of death himself can rule over Aharon? Right? And the Midrash says, this Rashi doesn't bring down, that the Jewish people threatened Moshe Rabbeinu. They said, if you don't tell us what happened to Aharon, we will kill you. Can you believe this? The Jewish people telling Moshe Rabbeinu, showing how much they had a love and connection to Aharon. Unbelievable. You know, you think about it, unbelievable. They had such a connection to Aharon more than Moshe Rabbeinu. Proof is what it says in the Midrash. They said to Moshe and Elazar, if you don't tell us and show us clearly, prove to us where Aharon is, we will kill you. So the Midrash says that Moshe and Elazar davened to Hashem, please sanctify your name. Don't let this be a chilul Hashem. So Hashem allowed the angels to open up the cave and to have Aaron's body float in front of the Jewish people in the air, so they can actually see that he passed away. Unbelievable though, that Aaron was more beloved. That's why it says in the Parshat Chukat that the Jews mourned. Rashi brings this down also. The Jews mourned more Aharon more than Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Because, like Rashi says, that Aharon was someone who was making shalom ben Adam lechavero, ben ish leishto. He would run to make peace between men and between husband and wife. What does that mean, that Aharon was able to make peace? That he was able to relate to each person. He was able to bring himself down. Don't forget, Pirkei Avot says, I think it's in chapter 1 or chapter 2, Heve mitalmidav shel Aharon, ohev shalom, v'rodev shalom, right? Ohev atabriyat u'mikarvan laTorah. Be like from the students of the disciples of Aharon, who loves peace and would pursue peace. He would go after to promote peace. He would love the people and bring them close to the Torah. Because of that, the Jewish people loved Aharon in a sense more than more Moshe, because Moshe, being the tzaddik, like Rabbi Nachman explains in lesson 6, the tzaddik, Moshe Rabbeinu, is kised mitkasya, he's concealed, he's hidden. The tzaddik, Moshe Rabbeinu, is connected to what's called the keter. The keter is so hidden. So the tzaddikim, because of their greatness, so we can't grasp so much the tzaddikim. It's true that tzaddikim reveal teachings. With their teachings, they relate to us. But the someone who befoal actually actively was out there to use the teachings of Moshe Rabbeinu and to bring the people back to Hashem was Aharon. He was the messenger for that. That's why the Jewish people mourned Aharon more than Moshe Rabbeinu. And this quality of Aharon, to seek peace, to bring peace among the Jews, that means to have a izun, to have a settlement, not equality, but a balance amongst the Jewish people. This was Aharon, and this, the commentaries explain, is the whole idea of the Ketoret. Ketoret, the word is in Aramaic. Katar. Katar means in Hebrew, yes, kitur ashan, like a cloud, because they would burn the incense and would create a type of a smoke cloud, anan, kitur, ketoret, that's the idea. But in Aramaic, the word katar is the Aramaic translation for the word kesher, connection, connect. The idea of the Ketoret, which we're going to right now, is what was common in Aharon. That's why Aharon, as the Kohen Gadol, and in Parshat Korach, and as pointed out by the Jews in Parshat Chukat, he was the one who was able, with the Ketoret, to stop the plague of the angel of death, stop plague in general, okay? Because of his qualities of being Ohev Shalom, Rodev Shalom, to make peace and tranquility and connection and balance between people. That's the idea of the Ketoret. What's the idea of the Ketoret? The Kabbalah explains, the Zohar, the Midrash, the Gemara, and the commentaries explain. The idea of the Ketoret is to connect. What the Ketoret does, that the Zohar says, and that Arizal explains, is the Ketoret is able to go into the depths. Rabbi Nachman also explains this, by the way, in lesson 24, Likutei Moran, which is our highlight here. The Ketoret is able to go into the domain of evil, the Klipot, kill the klipot, and extract holy sparks trapped therein. That's why there's 11 fragrances corresponding to 10 plus 1 sfirot. The 10 sfirot starting from Chochmah Bina Dat all the way down to Malchut of the realm of Asiya. There's a dimension of 4 worlds. The Kabbalah, we won't go into that right now, it's too deep. The dimension, the lowest one called Asiya, which is closest in proximity to the realm of the klipot. The klipot is right under the world of Asiya. So they go in these 10 sfirot with the last one, Malchut, whose legs, like the verse reads in Mishlei, Ragleha Yordot Mavet, the legs, in feminine, referring to Malchut, which is a feminine sphera, her legs descend, that's how it's displayed as referring to Malchut, her legs descend into death, the realm of death. In other words, the Klipot, they seek to gain nourishment, to yonek, to be a parasite, and to leech off holy energy from Malchut, and Malchut is connected to all the other spheres above it. So now, what the Ketoret is, with the number 11, which is called the Malchut of the dimension above, the Malchut of Yetzira, which is, in other words, the Arizal says the Keter, the crown of Asiyah. So it's 10 plus 1. They have this connection to the Malchut, so they can go into the domain of the evil, kill the evil forces, extract the holy sparks. That's why the Kabbalah teaches, the Zohar teaches, that the incense, the Ketoret, which today means reciting the Pitum HaKtoret before davening. It's in the Siddur before Shacharit. It's after Shacharit at the end before Leinu Neshabeach. It's before Mincha. Reciting the Ketoret today does the same thing. It goes into the evil domain and kills, eradicates the evil forces and extracts the holy sparks. Now, since Aharon was someone of that same quality, seeking to help people get out of what they're trapped in, by going to a husband, relating to what he's saying, what he's going through in his perspective, and yet helping him to see out of it, going to the wife, understanding her, relating to her, help her to think otherwise, bringing peace between them, and between friends, Adam and Chavero. So in a sense, he was like the Ketoret. That's why the Jewish people couldn't believe that Aharon died. He was so Ohev Shalom, Rodev Shalom, so much an affinity to the Ketoret. So they couldn't believe, since the Ketoret is able to stop the angel of death, how could it be that the angel of death was able to rule over Aharon? That's why they had misbelief. They couldn't believe Aharon. The answer is brought down in commentaries that really Aharon passed away not from the angel of death, but from the angel Gavriel. The angel Gavriel, who's the one who takes away the souls of the Jewish people buried in the Holy Land, made an exception, and in Hor Hahar, which is on the other side of the Jordan River, there, which was already technically the land of Sichon and Og, which is already, in a way, quote-unquote, part of the Holy Land, but outside, an extension of the Holy Land, the eastern border of the Jordan River. So Gavriel, the angel Gavriel, took away the soul of Aharon and not the angel of death. That's the answer to the commentaries. That's how the Rav Chaim Vital explains it also. So we have this idea of the Ketoret and Aharon. Okay, so now this is unbelievable. I've waited years to see someone write about it, and finally I found someone who wrote about it. Rav Yonatan Eibshitz, author of many books. The famous one is called Ya'arot Dvash. He has a commentary called Tiferet Yonatan on the Torah. He says something unbelievable. Look what he says. He says, however, nonetheless, even the Ketoret is limited. There is a limitation to the Ketoret. Where do we see that? At the end of Parshat Balak. We're going to see what the limitation is, and from this you can see an unbelievable chidush, I hope. At the end of Parshat Balak, we see that with the act of Zimri ben Salu in immorality with Kozbi Batsur from the Midianites, and causing 24,000 Jews to fall into forbidden sexual relations with the Midianites, and there again, coming at the end of the Parshat Balak, is another plague, another Magefa, and this time 24,000 are killed, the 24,000 who actually fell into Zima, Znut, immorality with the Bnot Midian, the daughters of Midian. The Tiferet Yonatan asks, why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu instruct Ketoret to be used here? If now the Ketoret stops the angel of death, which causes plague, Magefa, and again in Parshat Balak at the end is another Magefa, you saw that the plague was stopped in Parshat Korach, when they were now accusing and arguing and trying to attack Moshe Rabbeinu. The plague came, 12,000 were killed, or 14,000, whatever the Parsha, and Aharon was sent with the Ketoret to stop it. The Ketoret was able to stop the angel of death. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu use Ketoret in Parshat Balak to stop the plague? So the Tiferet Yonatan says, from here you see, there is a limitation to the power of Ketoret. Ketoret can help so long as there's a connection. But once the connection is severed, it can't help anymore. What severs the connection of a Jew? That even if his actions he falls in the domain of evil, he can be rescued by the Ketoret. There's one area where he cannot be rescued by the Ketoret. It's immorality, sexual immorality. Why? He says the Tiferet Yonatan, because when a person has forbidden relations, like was in the case of the Jews of the Midianites, the women Midianites, they cause a hafrada, separation, total separation. So that the holy sparks now from their malchut, if you want to say, that are trapped in the domain of evil, are stuck there. There's no connector. The Ketoret is 11 sfirot that are still connected to the malchut that's still in the domain of evil. It's still connected because there's a connection. But Gamma Brit, sexual immorality, separates a person totally so that the Ketoret cannot help. So in other words, bottom line from the Tiferet Yonatan, if someone else quotes it, I don't know where, but it's written from the Tiferet Yonatan, Ketoret can help a person in any area of life. Like Rabbi Nachman stresses in lesson 24, the power of Ketoret is helped to give a person a boost of simcha so that he can do the mitzvah of simcha. A person is sad and depressed, which by the way is a prerequisite for falling into sexual immorality. It's before that stage. So the Ketoret helps before a person falls any further, can help him, boost him with simcha, because Rabbi Nachman teaches in lesson 24, Ketoret yesamach lev. It's a verse from Proverbs that Ketoret brings joy to the heart. So in our context, when a person has the joy of the Ketoret, he's able to get out. Okay? So the Ketoret has a limitation though. For Gamma Brit, where there's a total separation, you can't connect to anything. It's similar to what Rav Nosson writes in the Likutei Halachot, Hilchot Tefillin, discourse number 2, that a person who emits seed in vain, masturbation, wasted seed, he's lost what's called in Yiddish is Pintele Yid, his holy spark of holiness. It's lost. Lost. You can't build on it, you can't retrieve it, you can't heal it, because it's lost. He's lost it. By letting it out, chas v'shalom, sexual immorality, a Jew loses his Pintele Yid, but it's not hanging. Okay, we have hope here. Wait. His only hope is he has to go to a tzaddik to get a new point, to get a new Pintele Yid. Okay? With all this said, you can now understand the greatness of Rabbi Nachman's general tikkun, general remedy called the Tikkun HaKlali. Because there's a question that comes up. The wording Rabbi Nachman uses in describing the Tikkun HaKlali is similar to the ideology behind the Ketoret. The Ketoret, we said earlier, is that it has the power to go into the domain of evil, the evil forces, the klipot, kill the klipot, and extract the holy sparks trapped therein, and bring them back to the holiness. He says, Rabbi Nachman, you can take a look in lesson Reish Hey, 205, and also it's an extension of the Likutei Moharan, part 2, lesson 92, where the idea of the Tikkun HaKlali is that it activates the 10 types of melody. That's why there's 10 chapters of Psalms to say, and they also go into the evil force, whose name is, we don't say her name, in English it's Lilith, Lamed Yud Tav, and these 10 chapters have the power to kill her, to destroy her strength, and extract the holy sparks of wasted seed that were trapped there to bring them out. Okay, the question is, until you hear this Rabbi Yonatan Eibshitz, you think the Ketoret is so powerful, lichora, seemingly, it does the same job as the Tikkun HaKlali. In other words, why did Rabbi Nachman have to come along and reveal a Tikkun HaKlali if it seems the Ketoret does the job already? The Ketoret does the job already. It goes into the domain of evil, kills the evil forces, extracts the holy sparks. But that's exactly what he says about the Tikkun HaKlali. What's the difference? With the Tiferet Yonatan, you see the difference. The Ketoret has a limitation, up to the Brit, up to sexual immorality. Anything else it can fix, but sexual immorality, no. So what can help for sexual immorality? This is where Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, Zechut Ogen Aleinu, Rabbi Nachman ben Fege, Zechut Ogen Aleinu, Amen, where his merit, his power of what he revealed of the Tikkun HaKlali comes in. That where there's no hope, where the Ketoret can't help anymore, so to speak, it can help everything except for Pagam Brit, which is a general blemish, requires a general rectification. That's what Rabbi Nachman explains in Likutei Moharan lesson 29. So for this you have Rabbi Nachman's Tikkun HaKlali, also similar to the Ketoret, but only 10. There's the 10 chapters. Rav Nosson in the Likutei Halachot, he says that these 10 really receive from a 1. So there's a secret 1 behind the 10. It activates the secret 1 behind it. And in this case of the Tikkun HaKlali, they correspond to the 10 types of melody. Melody, Rav Nosson explains in Birya Verivya Halacha Gimel in the Likutei Halachot, section Even Ezer. he says that melody is rooted in the highest part of creation. It's from the beginning point of Atzilut. Nigun, in the Kabbalah, for example, when they explain the 4 parts of the Torah, the written Sefer Torah has 4 parts called Tanta. Tet, Nun, Tav, Aleph. There's the 4 levels of the words and the letters in the Sefer Torah. There's the Ta'amim, the Trop, the Nigun, the cantillation, that's Tet. And then there's the Nekudot, the dots. The dots are not written in the Torah. The cantillations are not written, but we know them orally. And now in Chumashim, standard printed Chumashim, you have the cantillation marks and the vowel points. No problem. So that's Ta'amim, Tet. Under that is Nun, the Nekudot. Under that is the Tevot, the words. And the last is the letters, Otiyot. And the Zohar says these 4 correspond to the 4 levels of the creation. You have the highest, Atzilut, after that, Bria, Yetzirah, Asiyah, and these 4 levels are in correspondence. So meaning, the cantillation, the singing of the Torah, of the words, is the highest level. So here also, by the Tehillim, the 10 chapters of the Tehillim, which correspond to 10 types of song, which King David and the other tzaddikim used to compose the book of Tehillim, right? That's what's known, that's a Gemara, it's a Midrash, that King David used melody to compose the Psalms. That's why you have all these amazing words. Mamnatseach, Maskil, Shir, Nigun. Every psalm has a type of melody attached to it because the song was used in creating these psalms, showing that they come from a high level. And particularly these 10 specific chapters called the Tikkun HaKlali, they come from a super duper high level, the world of Nigun. Nigun is rooted in the world of Atzilut, and even beyond that, Rav Nosson explains. So in our context now, for someone who's blemished the covenant, the Ketoret, which is on the lowest of the 4 worlds, which seemingly could help anything that's fallen into the realm of the Klipot, which is under the 4th world of Asiyah. So seemingly, the Ketoret can help that. But in Pgam Brit, it's a separation totally, and the world of Asiyah, the Ketoret can't help anymore. We go to a higher level, which is the general remedy, activating 10 types of song. As opposed to Ketoret, we use 10 types of melody. The root of them, which are these 10 specific chapters found in the 150 chapters of the book of Tehillim, which make up Rabbi Nachman's Tikkun HaKlali, these 10 are used to help a person in the blemishing of the covenant. And there's levels. There's the first level, Rabbi Nachman says, of God forbid a person has a nocturnal emission, to on that same day, without delay, to say the Tikkun HaKlali. And he has another qualification, where he says, Rabbi Nachman swore to it, that anybody who comes to his grave, gives a coin to charity, says these same 10 psalms, and then takes upon himself also not to fall back to his folly. Rabbi Nachman swore that he will do everything in his power to pull that person out of Gehenna. So you see, it's another level, because initially he said one thing for a nocturnal emission, say it any day, anywhere, anytime, anywhere in the world. But for a higher degree of rectification, which means sins, sexual transgressions, which are worse than a nocturnal emission, which on your own you can figure out, for that, what's needed is to go to his grave and say the 10 psalms over there. Shabbat Shalom, and I hope this insight was unbelievable. For me, it's a life changer, because now you see the difference between the Ketoret and the Tikkun HaKlali, and why both are needed. One more point I'd like to say, so you would think, if that's the case, let me just say Tikkun HaKlali, and I don't have to say Ketoret. When it comes to morning davening in the morning, let me skip the Ketoret and go right to Shacharit Lahodu like most people unfortunately do. No, you need both. Why do you need both? Just like the analogy, a person who's a little bit sick, so you give him like a painkiller or something small. You don't give him super duper antibiotics if that's what you use. Again, we're not coming to explain medication and our opinion on medication, but just analogy. You don't give a heavy dose of medication, because when you give too much medication, it's known, you can also ruin the person. Too much bounty to help of healing can also cause a reverse effect. Okay? When do you activate a heavy duty, super duper bulldozer tractor form of remedy? When a person is very, very sick spiritually, physically and spiritually. So too the Tikkun HaKlali is for the blemishes that a person caused in the sexual area. And the Gemara says anyways that every day a person has a type of blemish in the area of the covenant, whether it's with eyes looking immorally, with immoral thoughts, illicit thoughts, that in a sense is already brushing off of the Pgam Brit, where the Tikkun HaKlali is needed for that. And for the general daily grind and struggle of trying to serve Hashem b'simcha, try to get up in the morning b'simcha, to put on the tefillin b'simcha, to daven b'simcha, to learn Torah b'simcha, to work on the anger, to say brachot b'simcha, to do the mitzvot b'simcha. For that, you need the Ketoret, which is why it's so important in the life of a Jew. Shabbat shalom, and have a great week.